The WWE presented its first Raw branded pay-per-view, The Clash of the Champions, on this September the 25th, 2016. I am your host, Nick Nightmare. Welcome to the SledgeHammer Wrestling Show review of Clash of the Champions. Let's get it started. All in all, everybody, not a terrible show, but if I'm being honest, we had some good wrestling, but some very bad booking decisions. And we're going to get right into it. There's no need to waste any time. Clash of the Champions was mildly entertaining, at best. We kicked off the show with the tag team title match, Gallows and Anderson versus The New Day. And the WWE really missed the boat here. Though I was happy to see Gallows and Anderson back in a dominant role in the ring, not fooling around anymore, just really kicking some ass in there. They really brought it to the New Day, and due to some tomfoolery at the end and the use of Francesca too, the New Day ends up winning and retaining their World Tag Team title with day 400 vastly approaching, if it is not already today. I do not understand the decision to do this. It's clearly time to move on from the New Day being champions and to freshen up the tag team scene by having Gallows and Anderson be the new Raw Tag Team champions. That was the way to go. They missed the boat on that one, but we'll see. I mean, we can only look forward to maybe a rematch. Maybe tomorrow night on Raw we'll have some kind of a big surprise win by Gallows and Anderson. Who knows? Who knows with them at this point? Because it didn't start out great as far as the booking decisions, although it was a good match. It was a good match for Gallows and Anderson. The New Day looked great, but wasn't happy with them coming out with the win. We followed this one up with the Cruiserweight Championship match, which I was afraid of, to be quite honest, but TJ Perkins, good old Teej Peej, was taking on Mr. Brian Kendrick, the Brian Kendrick, and these guys did a really nice job. It was a great first title defense for TJ Perkins. I just wish there was more story to this leading up into this, but after a tremendous match with some really great action between these two, TJ Perkins gets the win, making Brian Kendrick tap out to that devastating leg breaker he's got. And we see what we've become accustomed to if you've watched a Cruiserweight Classic, is them going to shake hands, and Kendrick does shake his hand, but then he headbutts him straight to hell. Holy cow, it was a hell of a shot. And I'm hoping to see this develop, and maybe the story will now begin, even though they didn't give it to us in time. And to have a story begin with somebody losing in the title match is not uncommon. So let's look forward to some more great action between these two and many others in the Cruiserweight division, if they don't screw it up on Raw. And I hate saying that, but it's a sad fact. They screw things up on Raw. We all know this if we watch. And tonight we had a good representation of the Cruiserweight division. It was a hard-hitting, not too much high-flying, but just enough. I mean, it felt like a Cruiserweight match, and I was satisfied with that. Then I almost was going to completely tune out for match number 7 in the best of 7 between Sheamus and Cesaro. And I was only grateful to see that this series was finally going to have an ending, and I had no reason to watch. And the longer it went, the more bored and less interested I became in the whole thing. I just really didn't care. This whole entire series from the first match has just been nothing. Until it looked like Cesaro broke his freaking neck. He took a really scary, really ugly bump to the outside where they highlighted it many times, so if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. He took a bad bump to his head, and it was only further complicated by the way this match ended. There was no clear winner. The referees called this match because both of the competitors clearly couldn't continue. I could not tell if this was a work or not, and I hate when they do that to me because I feel like I have my pulse on it, but I couldn't tell. I mean, Cesaro was clearly saying he couldn't feel his arm. That could clearly have been scripted. We know this, but it could have been for real. That bump out through the ropes, man, he landed right on his head. It could have hurt him really bad and complicated things, only to have Sheamus bash the back of his head on the opposite side of the barricade and seemed to completely become incoherent and stumbling and falling, and was quite embarrassing and kind of uncomfortable to watch. Either way, whether it was meant to be that way or not, it was a very dramatic and kind of scary conclusion to the match, and we have no winner. So are we going to have an 8th match now? Really? So, I mean, I don't think they would have done that intentionally. Something, I think, happened. We'll be looking on the radar for some more information on that, and I will be getting that to you as soon as I get it. That leads us into the next match, which was Chris Jericho and Sami Zayn, which was not the barn burner I thought it was going to be. It was a good match. For me, I mean, the Sheamus match with Cesaro ended up being one of the better matches of the night. Letting me eat my words and eat a little crow here. And it kind of was a little bit better even than this Jericho and Sami Zayn match. I wasn't as impressed with it as I thought I was going to. We seen a beautiful blue thunder bomb from Sami Zayn, and I thought that was going to be it. But then, Jericho ends up kicking out of that. They have another sequence and hit Sami Zayn with the code breaker for the win. Exciting action, but I thought it was going to be more exciting than it was. Very surprised that they gave the win again to Chris Jericho. How are we going to make new stars if you keep taking guys like Sami Zayn and Gallows and Anderson and make them lose week after week after week? There needs to be some kind of payoff, some kind of progression. Sami Zayn deserved to win that match. Chris Jericho is established. He can lose to anybody, and it will be just fine. We then lead into the women's title triple threat match, which I've been on record as saying I'm not happy about to begin with, and I wasn't really happy about this match by the end of it. It was, again, all of these matches so far, some really good, really solid action. The girls really did some good stuff. There wasn't too many spots that made me cringe. There was a lot of stuff that we've already seen, like I said, because we've already had these mishmash of these three girls in many different forms already, and it's unnecessary. And, Dana Brooke's involvement was just way too much. Way too much. And I hate to sound like a broken record, but Miss Piggy just does not fit out there. That outfit she wears is horrible. Her face alone is horrible. I just can't even look at her, and I'm dying for her to get out of this dynamic between Charlotte and Sasha and Bayley. But she just seems to be planting herself even firmly into it, and rumors are stating that she's going to be turning on Charlotte, and they're going to try to push her as a babyface in this division, and I really hope that doesn't happen. Or at least if it does happen, she needs to change everything about herself and just shut her mouth, because I'm tired of hearing her. And all of her involvement in this match really made this match feel even worse to me than I already felt about it. And this happened again in the main event, and we'll get to that later on. But this match, again, some nice action by the girls, unnecessary. And Bayley gets pinned again. Bayley gets pinned again. She's been brought up to the main roster. She got one nice win, and she's done nothing but lose, lose, lose since then. How are we making new stars here? These guys are not making sense to me, as usual. This match was followed by another match I really could care less about. The United States Championship match, Roman Reigns and Rusev. The crowd in this one, just like everywhere else, firmly mixed. And the action was nothing we haven't already seen before. And chance of CM Punk breaking out, I was surprised at that because, with everything that happened with him with the UFC, I mean, the fans still hold him in high regard. I still love him. I probably would have chanted right along with them because they were so bored they'd rather see CM Punk. And they do that quite often in good arenas and good towns, just as like, to stick it to you guys, this sucks, we don't want to see this, we'd rather see CM Punk. Very funny to me, but not. And delete chants. I distinctly heard the crowd once again going, delete! Delete! Matt Hardy references during a Roman Reigns match. Who would have thunk it? No, it's happened before, it's going to continue to happen. Nobody really cared when Roman Reigns got the win at the end of this. I'm not too upset about it. I said this was going to happen if you listen to the previous shows. And we'll see what happens. The most interesting thing that was referenced here was that while Roman was entering the ring, they had this nice long discussion about the Shield. And with all the rumors of that reuniting happening soon, with them, bringing it back into your consciousness, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see it somehow. Now, after the U.S. title match, we had Kevin Owens, I almost said United States Championship, the Universal Championship on the line. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Solid match. Once again, this match was really good. It ended up really grabbing my attention. These guys really, really went out there to throw down and to burn this place up. Like Seth Rollins said, he's going to burn this place to the ground, and he did so with his performance. But once again, we had an instance in this match where these guys do this move where they go flying through the top and the middle rope from the inside of the ring to the outside onto their opponent. And it's not an easy spot to hit. It requires a lot of good timing and trust in your opponent to be there in time to catch you. We've seen it with Sheamus and Cesaro, as I said, and now we've seen it again with Seth Rollins. He went from one side, hitting Chris Jericho, to the other side, hitting Kevin Owens, and was clearly not the same after that. And I believe that he too probably hurt himself, and I wouldn't be surprised to see his name being shouted out with some kind of injury, along with Cesaro and possibly Sheamus with a concussion. These guys need to stop with these crazy through-the-rope maneuvers. It's just unnecessary. They should be saved. Just like certain matches should be saved. These moments, these spots should be saved for specific times and specific moments to make things feel special. If you keep doing it over and over and over again, it waters it down. It takes the whole effect away. Who cares if you go through the ropes and take somebody out if you do it all the time? It's become commonplace for us to see it, and we almost expect it at this point. And then when you do it, we're just like, okay, he did his thing. There's no reason for them to be overexerting themselves. These guys are so talented, and they showed it through the first part of the match. I mean, when you go through this match, there was lots of ground and pound by Kevin Owens, complete with lots of trash talking and lots of jaw-jacking from Owens to Rollins as he was on the floor, almost helpless. But then Rollins would come back and quicken the pace and fire off some fast and furious offense after taking a hell of a beating from Owens for the whole first part of the match. The momentum in this match went back and forth and back and forth, and Owens, at the midway point of this match, would get Seth Rollins to the outside, throwing him onto the announce table, and would give him a DX chop. And the crowd popped huge for this, man, referencing that, I'm Triple H's guy now. Does his little DX chop to the crowd, does it to Seth Rollins, and then goes to do his little senton splash onto Seth Rollins, only to have Rollins move away. Owens plummeting through the table, missing Rollins completely. They would get back into the ring. Rollins would respond to that with a frog splash from the top rope. And then Jericho, as I mentioned before, in a Kevin Owens t-shirt, which was hysterical, would come out and cause a distraction, almost costing Kevin Owens the match. Seth Rollins would give Kevin Owens a little DX crotch chop of his own before nailing him with a pedigree, in which I thought this match was now over. But Jericho once again would get involved, take Kevin Owens' foot, put it on the ropes, saving Kevin Owens. Once again, just like Dana Brooke, and I hate to have to compare Chris Jericho to Dana Brooke in any way, but too much outside involvement from people towards the end of these what were very good and very entertaining and almost seemed very meaningful title matches, but would be ruined by bad writing and having outside involvement. After that came probably what would be the coolest moment that I've seen, especially out of Seth Rollins, since he did that little curb stomp out of an RKO at WrestleMania curb stomp into an RKO at WrestleMania, but only this time he would be on the offensive end, and as Kevin Owens would launch him up into the pop-up powerbomb, he somehow came down and landed it into a pedigree, but the referee was knocked out, and you were the crowd, and you could have counted to at least 15. Seth Rollins should have won that match. And then again, Stephanie McMahon comes out with another referee, sends the referee in, tries to get Jericho out. The distraction is there long enough for him to grab Seth Rollins, nail the pop-up powerbomb, get the 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens wins, and it is still our Universal Champion, which I am happy about. But the choices that were made during this pay-per-view do not make a lot of sense. Too much outside interference. Why that match was, and I never say Chris Jericho ruins anything. And I almost thought that the whole reason Jericho came out there was to have Roman come out and then, start this whole Shield thing that I keep almost harping on because it's what I hope that they do. But again, it's not what happened. They just had this happen, and now Seth Rollins gets screwed again in his own eyes and in our eyes. You see that he got screwed out of that title twice during that match. It happened twice. So where does he go from here? Still no involvement from Triple H. No appearance by Triple H. They only mention him in little interview segments and post and pre-match hype, talking about how they led into this and how Triple H was such an integral part of this, and yet we still have no answers. We only have these guys giving us their all and going out there for I think it was almost like 20 minutes. They were just killing it. And then Jericho comes out, and then the ref gets knocked out, and then Jericho really gets involved, and it becomes 2-on-1, and this is the main event of your first Raw branded pay-per-view, and you're ruining it with outside interference. Why can't we have clean wins anymore? I don't understand it. There is a much easier way to do that. He didn't even have to get involved. You could have had him just come out. No, screw that. You shouldn't have had him come out at all. You should have had Kevin Owens find his own way to cheat to win, because he's the heel. He should have found a way to, while the ref was out, hit him with a chair, do something illegal. Having all these people coming out makes it seem like the champion, like Charlotte and Kevin Owens, and even the New Day tonight, retain their championship by cheating to win, by using outside interference by somebody who's not supposed to be in the match, getting involved in the match. That's 3 title matches that's happened in one night. It's almost silly now that I look back and see that. It's a correlation I wasn't making while watching the show, but when we go back into these reviews, I can see a little more clearer. And there it is. 3 finishes exactly the same. And in each outcome, we do not have any new champions, do we? Did anybody lose their title tonight? I'm going to have to look back at my notes and just double check this because, I'm sorry. The one match that I don't count, Roman Reigns is the only person to win a title tonight. How sad is that? How sad is that? It's they had an opportunity here to really shake things up and they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball again. They really could have changed the whole landscape of the WWE. They could have gave Sami Zayn the win over Chris Jericho, the upset win over Chris Jericho. The fans want to cheer Sami Zayn. He is their guy. He's a modern-day Daniel Bryan. He's an underdog. Let him get a win, especially over a guy that can afford to lose. Chris Jericho would have taken no damage from putting over Sami Zayn. It's what should have happened. Gallows and Anderson should have been crowned the new Raw Tag Team Champions and changed the face of the tag team division. Start making guys come after these two new badass tag team monsters that are just going to tear ass through the division, smash faces, break bones, and take no prisoners. Bullet Club style. That's what should have happened. There should have been some kind of a more clear outcome to the women's match without having Miss Piggy stick her snout into this match at every turn. There should have been a lot of other things that happened. Sheamus and Cesaro might have been an accident, but if that is what they planned, that was stupid. If that's what unfortunately happened, I hope that neither one of these guys are seriously injured in any way, because they didn't deserve to go out like that. We'll talk real quick about the pre-show match, because I almost forgot about that one. We had Nia Jax, as I predicted, completely crush Alicia Fox. It was just a complete waste of 3 minutes, which is why I probably left it out, but I feel bad leaving it out because I'm a big fan of Nia Jax, and I hate how they're booking her, and I just really don't even want to talk about it. But all in all, a pretty decent show. Hating most of the outcomes, but now, do I have a reason to want to watch Raw? No, because nothing of importance really changed. Everything is exactly the same as it was yesterday. I hope to see TJ Perkins as the Cruiserweight Champion finally make an appearance on Raw. I hope to see the CEO, Triple H, come out and try to clear some of this confusion up. And I hope to see some progression with everything that we've seen tonight. Have they laid the foundation for the future? I hope so. Are we going to see more out of Chris Jericho and Sami Zayn? I hope so. Are they going to keep Sasha Banks and Bayley apart from this point on? I really do hope so. But like I said, all in all, not a bad show. Not a great show. Just another show. Almost kind of felt like a Raw. No Enzo and Cass. A lot of people missing off this card. But it is what it is. We got what we got. We're all going to tune in tomorrow for Raw. And don't forget to tune in back here for the Raw review each and every Tuesday following the show. Don't forget to tune back into the Nightmare Room if you missed any episodes of the Nightmare Room, including this one where we had our top 5 Clash of the Champions moments and our previews and predictions for this match, which were for this pay-per-view, which for me were way off. So if you want to go back and hear how wrong I was about so many things, you can go and do that and check out some of my favorite classic moments in the Clash of Champions. That is the Nightmare Room episode 5, featuring our first top 5 countdown in our show's history. We also got the Nightmare Room episode 6 coming this weekend with some sneak peek of my documentary. We're also working on getting that video up and running so we can be face to face and you could look me in the eye and see how I really feel and how my emotions come through on this mic, and it won't just be me and Blue sitting here alone in my little Nightmare Room, coming to you each and every week right here on YouTube.com. Don't forget to hit that like button. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel if you have not done so already. What in God's name are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for me. Get my subscribers up. I am happy to also announce that we have hit 100 views finally on all my content. We have 100 views. We don't have 100 likes though, and that I don't like. So every time we view it, let's hit that like button, guys. Let's get this channel up to par. Let's get to the top together. Me, Nick Nightmare, you, my sledgeheads, the SledgeHammer Army. Let's come out in force. Like I said, we got some cool stuff. I had some cool things delivered. We got some cool little stickers that I may give out to a few of my little friendos out there. And I have some postcards that we're going to use for some advertising. We're going to start shooting stuff out because we want to grow. We want to grow together. We want to get big. And we want our voices to be heard. We want my voice to be heard. I'm finding my comfort zone. We're getting there. I need to find my time. I'm a family man. It's hard to find the quiet times in a house as crazy as mine. But I want to thank you for sitting here with me through it. I love you guys like I tell you each and every week. Please come back for more. Each show will be up this week. I promise SmackDown will not be missing this week due to our audio issues last week. We missed our SmackDown review, but it will be here this week. Please come back. Thank you for tuning into the channel. If you're listening to us on Podbean, thank you for seeing us there as well. I do not know how much longer we'll be on Podbean. We might be going exclusively on YouTube all the time, but more information on that to come. Please, my friends, come back and see me again. Thank you for being here at the SledgeHammer Wrestling Show. This is Nick Nightmare for my boy Blue, the Snowball microphone. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.